How's it going, YouTube? So this is a newer channel that I'm sort of kicking off here. See what happens with it. I guess I'm going by the name of MetalonMetal for now. So that's what the channel's called. I've just got back into riding again, going through this whole licensing thing we've got here in Australia. Been back on the road for about 6 months now, and yeah, just started modifying the bike, doing a few things to it, and even when I was buying the bike, I sort of used YouTube as a bit of a reference, as I do in a lot of things really, and thought I'd give it a go myself, just to you know, give back to the community a little bit, I guess. Maybe contribute a little bit, maybe help a few people out, maybe I can learn a few things too. You know, motorcycles and stuff, and YouTube was something I'd never really thought about until I was looking around at buying a bike, and I realised it was kind of it's a pretty big community, so I thought I might, yeah, maybe contribute a little as well, a little bit about myself. I'm not completely new to riding motorcycles. I have been riding off and on since I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. I grew up on a property in rural New South Wales. You know, did the whole dirt biking thing and flogging around on a farm, all the silly things you do there. And so many years later, I've decided to finally follow through with the licensing and stuff. To be honest, it was the licensing that kind of turned me off in the earlier days, when I was first old enough to get my license, motorcycle license that is, of course. I've had a car license for ever since I was old enough. Yeah, so I'm finally following through with that. Having to deal with this whole lamb scheme thing. So I guess the next question I'm going to be asked is, what sort of bike am I riding? If well, I'm guessing this video is probably going to have some tags on it that's going to give away the bike that I'm riding, and depending on how good that camera angle is, some people may have picked up as well, just from the logo on the old Speedo there. But yes, I am riding a Harley Davidson Street 500, which I'm sure there's going to be people out there giving me flack for, either for the reason that it's got a bar and shield logo on it and it's a Harley Davidson, or the fact that it's a 500cc. You know, this is the only Harley you can get on the lamb scheme over here. I mean, honestly, a Harley wasn't my first choice either. It was I was actually looking at quite a few other bikes before I got this one. I mean, to start off with, I actually wanted to get a sports bike. That was my first go-to. I was looking at sports bikes. One of the main reasons I didn't go ahead with that was mainly due to a couple of salesmen I had to deal with. I had, you know, I don't know, I just don't like salesmen at the best of times. But, you know, I just had to deal with some real douchebags, to be honest. Guys that were just wasting my time, sort of telling me what sort of bike I should be getting. You know, and it's, I mean, I've been away from motorcycle riding for a little while. I still I know how motorcycles work. I've got a basic idea of the differences between sports bikes and cruisers and that kind of thing. Like, I'm no expert by any means, but I do have an idea of the basics on it. And yeah, having a salesman sort of stop listening to you know, what I was after in a motorcycle, and was too busy telling me what I should be riding, kind of really turned me off it. I'm not really going to name the dealership at this stage, because, well, you know, so be it. Yeah, I just don't feel the need to name the dealership. But yeah, I just wasn't impressed with how I was treated. I started shopping around a little more for what other bikes were out there, Lambs approved, all that kind of thing. I inquired about a couple of the Street 500s, and it was really the guys here at Morgan and Wacker in Brisbane who were pretty much just the coolest guys to try and deal with as far as buying a bike. That's what sold me on it. Which I was kind of surprised with. You know, just after all the pissing around that I had with other places, you know, just emailing and phone calls and all that kind of thing. Just to even be able to look at a bike. I'll give you an example of one of the things that really fucking turned me off one of the other motorcycle dealerships. So I was interested in, I am partial to the old Kawasaki's and Yamaha sports bikes, which I don't mean old, but yeah. So I was interested in some of their offerings in a sports bike to start off with. I had this salesman sort of you know, I sent in some emails say, you know, hey, I'm interested in this bike, I'm interested in this one, sent it all through to him, and you know, the salesman gets back to me, he's like, yeah, we can do that one, we can get you anything you want, you know, the usual stuff you get thrown your way, you know what I mean. He said he was going to get some bikes together for me to have a look at and all that kind of thing. You know, he sent me a few emails and stuff, and I was like, yeah, cool, I'll get in there at some point. And one day I was at work and I got a whole bunch of missed calls from this dude, and he sent me a text and was like, you know, hey man, get in here as soon as you can. I've got a bike that we've just traded that's, you know, absolutely perfect for you. It's you know, low kilometers, incredible condition. It's exactly what you're after. It's exactly the price point you were looking at. And I was like, yep, sweet. I'll drop in there tomorrow in my lunch break, or I think I finished work early or something like that to get in there and check this bike out. And I, you know, rocked up to the dealership and walked in, introduced myself to the guy because we hadn't really met face to face by this point. And yeah, walks into the dealership, and you know, I asked him about the bike. I was like, you know, hey man, I got this text from you yesterday saying there was this bike in here that you wanted me to check out because it was, you know, exactly what I was after. It was, you know, according to you, like the perfect sort of bike for me or whatever. And the dude gave me this blank look, like he had no idea what I was talking about. You know, I showed him the text message, and he was just really vague about it. So I really don't know what happened there, but you know, after that I ended up walking around the dealership with him for a bit, and you know, had a look at some bikes, sat on some bikes, did that whole thing, which, you know, I'd been doing at other dealerships anyway. But you know, doing all that stuff. Basically, the dude tried to start upselling me on the bikes, and he started showing me bikes that weren't really what I was after. This certain brand had just released a new model that was targeted at the lamb schemes, and all of a sudden this dude tried to start selling me on it. You know, finance options, it's this, it's that, it's the newest, greatest thing ever. And it wasn't a bike I wanted, and you know, while I was there, I pointed out a couple of other bikes in the yard that I was kind of interested in, and sure enough, he actually said something to me along the lines of, those bikes are outside your price range. Which is kind of funny, because the bikes I was originally looking at were about half the price of what this Harley ended up costing me. You know, so, which is a little bit funny, but yeah, he just flat out kind of profiled me, and did that after wasting my time and fucking me around and trying to upsell me on a bike. He then profiled me and told me that I couldn't afford another a different style of bike that I was looking at, which was kind of you know, one of the final nails in the coffin of that deal. And I mean, after that, I kind of just, you know, gave him the old, yeah mate, I'll think about it, and I didn't go back. But the dude still continued to sort of hassle me and, like, you know, text me 2 or 3 times a day, and you know, try to call me and stuff while I was at work, when I told him, you know, during certain hours I can't really pick up the phone. It's like it was the ending of a really messy relationship. You know, he was pretty desperate, I think. It was coming up to the end of financial year last year, and I don't know, I'm guessing he was motivated to sell certain vehicles, and certain bikes and stuff that were there. But yeah, just not a great deal of respect for the customer, which was where it just really kind of killed it for me, I guess. I don't have any endorsement or sponsorship with Harley or anything like that. This is just me sort of sharing an experience with you guys. You know, out of all the bikes that I was applying for, and especially after that, it kind of turned me off. I guess it didn't turn me off sports bikes, it made me start looking at what other options were out there. And so yeah, I hit up the Harley guys. I was like, hey, you know, interested in these, all that kind of dealio. And yeah, they were really cool. They weren't pushy. They wanted to, you know, they were happy to talk bikes. They were happy to sit down and just have a chat and just be dudes, you know, which was just kind of it was a much nicer buying experience without sounding like too much of a douchebag. I obviously can't speak for all dealerships, or if you've had different experiences or whatever else, like, you know, go for it. I mean, you know, I hear this YouTube thing is all about interaction and that kind of stuff, so if you've had experiences with certain, you know, brands or outlets or something like that. You know, you've had bad experiences or good experiences. Why not, you know? And especially if you're an Aussie, because I mean, that's relevant to me. You know, drop something in the comments. You know, let us know what was your worst buying experience of a motorcycle, and what was some of your best. That's part of why I ended up with the bike that I did, which, you know, I haven't really seen any other motovloggers or YouTubers or anything like that that are riding around on a street 500. And I guess it's, you know, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like the red-headed stepchild of motorcycles at the moment. It's this really awkward middle ground where, like, Harley guys don't like them because it's a 500cc Harley and it's smaller and it's, you know, it's not air-cooled. It's actually got, like, something that's going to stop the bike from heating up too much in traffic and stuff. And I mean, I do a lot of city riding and that kind of thing around here. I'm not really doing a lot of highway Ks on it, so having something that isn't air cooled that is a little bit smaller is a little bit nicer to get around on. From one of the many times I was looking at getting my license, I was looking into things like the Yamaha XVS 650 and stuff, which have gained a big following for guys that have their RE or Lambs license here, because, you know, it looks like a Harley. It's you know, one of the biggest displacement cruisers you can get on your Lambs here. So, you know, but I mean, at the same time, they have such a big following that everybody, that becomes the go-to. And yeah, I just, you know, you kind of want something different sometimes. There's also the other one I was looking at as far as cruiser bikes were going was the Kawasaki Vulcan S, of course, which I was really into them for a while when I was looking around at bikes. But I don't know, and a lot of people really like the look of them and stuff, and they are a pretty cool looking bike. But the more I was around them and stuff, kind of the more I started not liking the look of it. As weird as that sounds, I don't know, it just, something about it, the more that I looked at them and the more I started, like, they're pretty comfortable bikes and stuff, but the more that I sat on them and checked them out, I kind of, something about the look just didn't click with me anymore. And you know, it's just you know, it's how it is. And I mean, Street 500s aren't the greatest looking bikes out there, but there was, I think I saw more potential in it, I guess. You know, being a Harley, there is a lot of aftermarket parts out there, and I think having like the Street 750 as the bigger brother to this, from what I gather, over in the US, is a much more popular bike than what the Street 500 is, but they're basically the same bike, just with a different displacement. So I mean, you know, Harley's smashing out aftermarket parts for them, which, you know, are usable on this. So there's a lot of options, which was part of it. I mean, I've started modifying this bike. I might save that for another video where I'll go into things like what have I modified so far, what am I going to do next. I've got a list of things that I want to do to it. You know, some are, it's nearly a 50-50 of performance and cosmetic kind of stuff. But you know, I dig it. With every sort of bike that's out there that I found, there's a small handful of things that everybody feels the need to change straight up, because they're just, you know, it's just the way it is. You know, companies do it. They you know, they put out these bikes that need a little bit more work, and I mean, anyone who's used to Harleys or whatever will be 100% aware of what is referred to commonly as the Harley tax, where, you know, you're looking at things such as, wait there, thank you, you know, things like, you know, the mirrors need to be changed to be able to see it. I've got these hokey looking fucking Batmobile mirrors on here at the moment, which I'm not, as far as how they look, I'm not a big fan. But I mean, they're here for, I got them more as a trial thing for the size, the arms and stuff on them, just to see how well they work. I mean, they're better than the standard ones. They're still not quite where I want them. I think I can still do better as far as mirrors for this bike, and that's one of the things that I am going to be looking into, is trying to sort that out. I'm thinking about trying to do some underslung sort of mirrors, but you know, due to how Harley is sort of put the mirrors on these ones, it's not as easy as like what you see guys do with the Sportsters and that sort of thing, where they can just basically flip the mirrors around and you're done. These ones, you're looking at either bar end mirrors, which I'm not sure how I feel about putting bar ends on it. I mean, these things already have a kind of cafe racer look to them, of which I'm trying to make my bike look less like a cafe racer. Not that I hate them, it's, you know, I don't mind some cafe racer bikes. I think they can be done really fucking well at times, but it's that weird thing where Harley has tried to build like this hipster orientated cruiser cafe bike, which I don't get. It's part of this new thing that Harley's doing, which I don't want to delve into too much now. I've got my thoughts on it and stuff, which once again I might save for another video. So obviously, yeah, mirrors are something going to change. The exhaust, I don't know how the audio is going for this video so far, but I don't know if you can notice, but I do have an aftermarket exhaust on this thing already. It's not a quiet exhaust. I was actually kind of impressed with how loud it was. But yeah, I could go over the specs of that later. It's a nice day out here at Nudgee. Dog park. But yeah, I don't know, is there many other, from what I've found on forums and that kind of thing, there's quite a few other, I know, Aussies, New Zealand guys as well, and a few guys over in the UK and stuff, because I mean the UK's got similar sorts of restrictions on licensing over there, from what I understand. I don't know too much about it, but I have seen a few people on forums and on social media and stuff talking about having they themselves having a Street 500 as well. So I mean, there's a small community out there, and it was just one of those things where I thought I might throw it together a bit, throw something together, and I don't know, maybe, yeah, as I said before, maybe I can learn some things, and maybe other people can too, which could be pretty cool. And as far as modifications and stuff go, I mean, it's in for this channel as well. I mean, once upon a time I was a boilermaker by trade, and I do have a small home workshop where I might be able to do modifications and stuff. Like, I haven't done a lot of work on bikes at this stage. There's already some parts that I have made up for this one, just out of necessity. So yeah, I'm going to do that. I was thinking of, you know, just letting this channel sort of do its own thing. See what I want to do with it. See what other people get into. I mean, fuck me, what a piece of shit of a road. I don't think it'll just be a just a standalone sort of shit, it's a nice day. Just a standalone sort of motovlogging channel. I think it might be a bit of everything, you know, different reviews, things like tool reviews, that kind of thing, the stuff that I'm, not just what I'm putting on the bike, things that I'm using to, like the tools and stuff that I'm using to work on the bike with as well. A bit of everything, really. I mean, if you're watching this video, you know, you're an Aussie motorcyclist, you're on your LAMS license, you're interested in getting your bike license, interested in bikes, maybe just throw me a comment and let me know what you would like to see, because I mean, as I've said, I was kind of inspired to do this because of how much help I've got from YouTube as far as making decisions on things. Like, just as a reference source, you know, people can hear somebody else's opinion, people can you know, see like an actual review of somebody with, you know, with the product or the whatever it is in hand. That is a big bump. You know, do you guys want to know more about the licensing system and what you sort of do here in Queensland? I mean, it's kind of similar around Australia, but I don't think it's exactly the same in every state. So I can let you know what I've had to do. You know, I'm going to upgrade my license at some stage and get my R license, which is the open one, which is, you know, the non-restricted. So I've kind of got a time limit on this bike to work on it and do the modifications I want before it's probably going to get moved on and I'm going to upsize. That's a green light, buddy. So I don't know, I might try to do a video every week, and hopefully this one works, because putting this video together, I've had a couple of there's been a bit of trial and error already with this one. I've already had a couple of technical issues. I'm hoping this one works out. Otherwise, I've been riding around talking to myself, looking like a bit of a weird dude in traffic for no reason. Which, so be it. I think there's a lot of motorcyclists out there that kind of ride around, maybe not talking to themselves out loud, but talking to themselves, you know, thinking and all that kind of thing. And I guess that's one of the things that I kind of liked about watching some of these other motovloggers and stuff, was yeah, just, you know, getting out and riding. Because I think, oh fuck, I think sometimes people with bikes that, you know, if you've got a car as well, I've got a ute that I have to use for work every now and then. Sometimes it is difficult to maybe justify to get out on justifying to yourself, as silly as that might sound to some people, to get out and go for a ride. And I mean, that was kind of one of the cool things for me, was that I could this was kind of like an excuse for me to get out and to do something on a weekend. One of the things with this is I can sort of do it at my own accord. Yeah, you know, all I got to do is chuck the helmet on, go for a tear, and just talk to myself or whatever, you know, outside of doing some of the other stuff which I might be pre-planning for you guys. But if it's one of those things where I can get somebody else out on a bike, you know, somebody else feels the need to do it or whatever, gets kind of inspired the way that I was, then, you know, fuck it, I'm doing something kind of cool. If nobody gives a shit about it, nobody watches the videos, then, well, I've got myself out on the bike. Got a bit of that old wind therapy, as they say. Which I'm not complaining about either. You know, it's one of those things, like when I was younger, riding bikes and stuff around the farm and being idiots and all that kind of thing. It's like a lot of those things you do when you're a kid, and you kind of just forget about it as you get older. You know, you forget about just how simple and fun it could be. Just enjoying things on a really basic sort of level, which it didn't really occur to me just how much I sort of did enjoy it until I got back on a bike again and, you know, went through all this stuff at the moment. Now, I know here in Queensland it is legal to lane split, and I would usually be lane splitting, but the fact that I'm concentrating on trying to speak, and you have dickheads like that pull up at the lights right up against the line. But yeah, you'll probably see me as I ease into this vlogging thing a little more. You will probably see me doing it a bit more before anyone points out that I'm just being an idiot and stopping in traffic like a chump. I'm completely aware of it. I've already got a few bits and pieces, a few mods and stuff sitting at home, ready to go on the bike, that I've kind of put off until I could get these videos up and going, just so I could do like some before and after stuff, to show you guys like when you buy some of these parts. And it's one thing that kind of annoys me about trying to look for parts for this, is like just those little things about when you buy something, what does it come with? You know, what is it out of the box? What is it like? Ooh, tunnel. So worth it. So, you know, I've got a few things like that. I've got ideas to probably do maybe 4 videos or something that I've already got, basically the ideas, the stuff there to go for it. All that kind of thing. So I mean, hopefully, depending on my time-wise, depending on my time management skills, which can be a little lacking in times, I might be able to throw together a few videos and hopefully regularly put some stuff up. Guess it also comes down to whatever you guys want to see as well. There's no use in me putting together Australia's most boring YouTube channel for other people, so no. See, like right now, I guarantee there's not many people in the cars around me saying, look at that wanker or that pissy little 500cc motorcycle. I guarantee most of the people in this tunnel right now are saying, would you look at that wanker or that incredibly fucking loud Harley Davidson. Yeah, nice little ride out to Nudgee Beach today, guys. I thought I'd keep it a simple one to start with. Try to introduce myself a little bit, which I don't know if I've actually done that well. Haven't really explained much, I guess. But hey, I mean, fuck it. I got the first one together. I'm just hoping that the audio and stuff worked this time, because I had a few issues with microphones and all that technological shit. All the technological stuff kind of failed me a little bit, and the old learning curve of trying to sort this shit out, which you'd think, you know, the fact that I've done YouTube videos in the past, I should really have my shit together a little bit better when it comes to that, but this is something new. I've never had to I've never had to mount a microphone on a microphone and a camera on a motorcycle helmet before and have it all work for me. So yeah, had to sort that one out. Thanks for watching. I'll do that whole, you know, like and subscribe thing if you want to support the channel and see where I go to next and see what I get up to. And as I said, throw some comments at me if you've got ideas of what you would like to see from me.